Hey, Verl Workman here. Today we're talking teams, and we're going to talk about how to work on your business, not just in your business. Have you ever felt like starting your business was just creating a bigger job for you, and now you work more than you've ever worked before? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. In order to be a true leader, it's time for you to stop working in your business, doing all the tasks, and start working on your business, being strategic and moving the business forward. The only way that I know how to do that, I'm going to give you right at the end of this video. If you stay tuned to the very end, right at the very last minute, the last second, I'm going to give you a download to our one-page business plan on a secret tool we call Agile that gives you the ability to think strategically about your business and then execute on the highest priorities that you have. So let's talk about how that works. The first things you have to do as a leader is we have to change your mindset. You have to change what you believe your role in business is. If I were to ask you what you do, how would you answer that question? What's your job? What do you do? Hey, go ahead. Let's just take a minute and do that. Go into the chat below and just write down what you do. Like, what do you do? What's your job? Chief bottle washer. I am the team leader. I do buyers. I do sellers. I'm the admin. I do my own client events. I provide great service. All of the roles you do. Now look at that same list, and there's a bunch coming in, and just say, which one should I do? Ah, I got you. So what do you do versus what should you do is very different. The part about changing your mindset is deciding that you're going to focus on the things you should do, not the things you are doing, just because you don't think anybody can do it as well as you. The reality is, if you hire competent people, whether they're internal or external or virtual, there's amazing people who are actually better at you at doing those tasks. And they can do the things that you think only you can do if you train them correctly. So how do you train and delegate? It starts by delegation, and that is the 3 different levels of delegation. Do what I told you to do, exactly like I told you. Go do a little bit of research, come back, let's discuss it, and then we can determine which thing you should do. Or I totally trust you, just use your best judgment and get it done. As you understand the levels of delegation and you tell your people which level you're giving them, they're going to be more effective at getting it done. The second thing is prioritization. Now, this is a big deal. When we've created a multi-page business plan that takes a tremendous amount of time to get it done. But this year, at the request of our coaches, we developed what's called a one-page business plan. I'm going to give you a copy of the one-page business plan where we put your financial goal in, and then we identify the specific things you want to accomplish this year. And then we ask you to come up with 4 pillars of income. Now, the way the 4 pillars work is, let's just say you want to earn $100,000, and that means you got to sell 10 houses a year. I want you to do 4 pillars. Each pillar, you have to have an action plan or clarity on how each pillar will generate 100% of your goal. The way we're able to help our agents double, triple, and quadruple their business is we always go 4 times more than what their goal is. I know it sounds overwhelming, but when you start to execute, you start to gain clarity. In the 4 pillars of income, each pillar has to generate 10 closed transactions, and we work each pillar as if it's the only thing we do. When you're done with that, you have specific activities with each of those pillars that become priorities. What has to happen today, tomorrow, the next day, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in order to be on target to be able to accomplish your 100% of your goal in each pillar? That's called focusing on strategy. When we're strategic about the way we build, it changes the way we make decisions. We then use a process called Agile. Now, we use a Verlized version of Agile for real estate, which is where we prioritize those tasks. We use numbers like 900 as a highest priority, then 800, then 7, 6, and 5. If someone's a 900 and another task comes in that's a pretty high priority, you ask the question, is it higher than 900 or lower than 900? You might give it a 875. It's not that it's 25% less, it just means that it's a lower number, and it gives me room to put other tasks in. And then I have another task with another pillar that might be a 850. I might have another one that's a 700. What happens is using Agile, it allows you to work on and sort by the highest number to the lowest number. And we just pick the top 3. And we focus this week on getting the top 3 done. The next week, we do the next 3. The next week, we get the next 3. What I've learned is that when you become strategic and you focus on specifically doing the activities that generate a predictable result, consistent with your 4 pillars of income and you execute strategically on those activities, your business not only grows, but you gain clarity. So focus on strategy. Don't just be an idea vomit. One of the things that entrepreneurs have a tendency to do is they go to shows or conventions and they come home and they got their trick-or-treat bag of all the brochures, they got the notes of all the sessions they went to, and then they give all these ideas to their team, and their team doesn't know what to focus on because every idea is a good idea. And so what they do is they get caught in confusion and they don't actually do anything that moves them closer. The other thing that's frustrating to team members, people that are wired differently than you as an entrepreneur, is they need to see start to finish and be rewarded for finishing and be celebrated for getting something done. And if you're constantly giving them new ideas and new projects without clarifying what priority they're in, they never get to have a win. So use Agile to be really clear. I like to say to my team, hey, these are the 4 things I want to focus on. They go, is it more important than this? And I have to say yes or no. If it is, give it a number. And so we give it a number, put it in the level of priority, and then we execute on those priorities and get the top 3 things done. It changes the interaction, it changes the satisfaction of you, and you'll start noticing things get done in your business. Which brings me to the number 4. And number 4 is to build a strong team. You heard me say before from John Maxwell, it says he leads but doesn't have any followers, is only taking a walk, meaning your team has to want to follow you because they trust you and they respect you. And you give them an opportunity to win. When they don't feel like there's wins, they don't want to follow you. The next thing, number 5 is, and I'll say this again, that which gets measured gets done. You have to use KPIs, key performance indicators, or specific metrics to track whether or not you're moving your projects forward. Are we at 50% this week? Next week when we do our huddle, it should be at 75%. The next week is 85, and then we're at 100. Your job as a leader is not to do tasks, but more specifically to remove impediments and make sure that the people working on those projects have everything they need to be successful. Number 6 is review and adjust. Look, nothing works the way you think it's going to, so being adjustable and flexible to be able to change is okay. When you review how things are going, if it's not on track, make adjustments. When something comes in that's a higher priority, like an event with a date or a closing activity, it's okay to change the order of priority because of a date where something has to be done. The reason it's called Agile is because it's agile. It can be changed, and it's okay to change it as long as we stay focused on what those priorities are. And then the last is seek an outside perspective. This is one of the areas where your coach will have a biggest impact in your business because the coach can question whether or not those goals are aligned with your priorities. Let me give you an example. Coaching a client out of Houston, Texas, I remember that watching the team leader transition the Agile to the operations manager or the client care coordinator. And all of a sudden, all of the priorities on the Agile became operational excellence priorities. Setting up the database, making sure we have onboarding, training and development, creating systems for everything. While those are all critically important, there were no dollar productive activities or activities that moved us closer to our goals. And so as a coach, I had to help the team realize that there's 3 levels of prioritization. The first one is we always do money-making activities first, dollar productive activities. The second thing is events with dates. So if you're doing a client appreciation event, and then the third thing is operational excellence. And so make sure that you prioritize in order so that the team knows how to place things in the 600s, 700s, 800s, or 900s based on whether or not they're money-making activities, non-negotiables, events with dates, or operational excellence. Creating time and creating life balance is strategic. And learning how to focus and work on your business to move those strategic initiatives forward is what it's all about. The better you get as a leader at working on the business, instead of getting in the minutia of working on the business, the faster your business will grow. So I'm going to give you a couple of things just right now. I want you to download them. The first one is I'm going to give you a copy of our 1-page business plan. Watch the video back again, and the way that I talked about the 4 pillars of income, the prioritization, and how to figure out how 100% of your goals need to be accomplished with each of those pillars. And then at the bottom, there's the action plan worksheet. And as a special bonus, just for being here, I'm not just going to give you the short version of Agile. I'm going to give you a link to the full version of Agile we use with our high-end coaching clients as we teach them how to prioritize. If you have questions about how to use it or you want more help in your business, just reach out for a free coaching consultation and let one of our business analysts help you with that process. I look forward to your success as you begin working on your business and you stop working in it.